A 90-minute flight turned into a 35-hour nightmare for Charmaine. A simple domestic trip plagued by delays, cancellations and a lot of excuses. By the time Charmaine got to her final destination, she'd already flown up and down the east coast of Australia.
I felt emotionally wrecked. By the time I got here, I just felt absolutely wrecked.
Charmaine's shocker.
I'm tired. I'm very tired.
On a ping-pong journey across eastern Australia, this 70-year-old's had a 35-hour trip from hell.
I'm so disappointed. I'm just bitterly disappointed. I really thought they were better than that.
A flight from Launceston in Tasmania to Sydney should take 90 minutes. But in the time it took Charmaine to touch down, she could have flown to London and then to New York.
Get it together, Virgin. My friend has secondary spinal cancer and he had to go to Sydney for radiation therapy and he just wasn't capable of driving that way. He had no other way of getting there. Him and his wife said, look, we'll pay for you to come up if you can drive him. So, here I am.
Charmaine from Latrobe in Tassie headed straight to the airport, flying Virgin Australia to Sydney.
They kept us waiting for 4 hours after the flight was due to leave. They took the luggage out to the plane, so we thought, yay, great, it's going to be late, but we're going to get there.
Well, Charmaine's flight from Launceston to Sydney was cancelled following a 5-hour delay. Her compensation, an $8 dinner meal voucher.
I said, look, I need to be in Sydney early in the morning. I've got to get down to Shell Harbour to take a friend to cancer therapy. I begged and pleaded with them. Some gentleman overheard and gave me his spot on a 6 o'clock flight to Melbourne, and then I was supposed to be on a 9 o'clock flight to Sydney.
But Charmaine's Melbourne flight was also scrapped.
At 11:15, they'd finally come upstairs and given me a hotel voucher for the night, said that there was accommodation booked, gave me a cab charge. I got to the hotel only to be told that the rooms were all taken. There were no rooms. And I just said, well, what am I going to do? You know, it's 20 to 12. What am I going to do?
Charmaine says she eventually found somewhere to sleep.
I had a cab booked at 5 o'clock to take me back to the airport to check in for the early flight, 6:30 flight, only to be told when I got there I was now going Launceston, Melbourne, Melbourne, Coolangatta, Sydney.
Charmaine flew to Coolangatta, but because of bad weather, her Sydney flight was canned. Alone, Charmaine says she begged a Virgin staff member for help.
And he said, not my problem. I can't change the weather. Tough. On 3 hours sleep, I was just a mental wreck.
Charmaine was then rebooked on a flight from Brisbane to Sydney. So the 70-year-old was forced to get a $340 taxi from Coolangatta to Brisbane and make it on time for boarding. We caught up with a frustrated and emotional Charmaine while in transit at Brisbane Airport.
I'm here now, I'm booked in. Flight's been delayed again. I'm still praying that I get there tonight, so I can drive my friend to his cancer treatment tomorrow morning.
A cancer survivor herself, Charmaine was desperate to keep her promise.
I just keep getting shafted constantly and really hard, and I'm really tired.
All up, it took 35 hours for Charmaine to arrive at her destination.
So you have 6 boarding passes in total?
Yes.
In 1.5 days travel?
Yes, for a 1.5 hour flight.
You could have gone to Europe.
I could have been on the other side of the world.
But Charmaine's needed in Sydney.
No problem.
Her mate Brian couldn't be happier to see her.
She's a pretty good friend.
Finally get here.
What do you think about her journey to get here?
I honestly can't believe that an airline company can still be running, doing things like that.
You must be worried about how long it will take you to get home now.
Yes. I'm hoping I don't have to go via Western Australia.
We contacted Virgin Australia and the airlines agreed to refund all of Charmaine's costs, including taxis, hotels and meals. And because of the compassionate circumstances of Charmaine's travel purposes, Virgin's refunded all of her flights.
You can't treat people like this. You really can't. Your passengers matter. Try and do more to help them. And when they're crying out to you for help, try and do something. You need to get your act together.
And guess what? It only took Charmaine 90 minutes to fly back home.